Grand Rising. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for joining this really important video and sincere apologies for those that were waiting on the live stream the other day. I have had major issues. So this is take 3 of our recording because the Wi-Fi's not playing audio, but it's Mercury retrograde. So of course this is going to happen. Back to the serious matter. Myself and my co-host, who I'm just about to introduce, have been inundated with emails, texts, phone calls from a lot of people that are feeling really low, whether it be in the mood, their physical, their spiritual aspect of things. And all you see everywhere is it's okay to not feel okay. But is it? There's a day of feeling not okay. There's a couple of days, and it's keeping the positivity. And I'm worried that it stops people that really aren't feeling okay going to seek help. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my brother from another mother who's very open about his mental anguishes and myself too. So we're going to explain what works for us, how we can maybe help other people, planting a couple of seeds, and then it's up to you to water them and let them grow. Anything that we say, we are not condoning that is definitely going to work for you. We are not saying that people should go on meds, come off meds. We're all on our own journey. But please, if you do need help, please go and seek that support. So here we are. It's my EasyE in the house. Hello, my wee chicken. How are you?
Buongiorno. How are we doing?
Signores, ¿cómo está? How are you?
You've lost me on that one. That's as far as it could go. I am. I am good. I am good. Back in the room. One, two, three. We had some tech issues, but we're here.
Slightly, but that doesn't set us back. Yesterday,
No.
it set me back. Hands up. I had the brightest red cheeks out of rage. I started taking panic attacks, and afterwards, I
Oh,
did. You were like, "Don't let this ruin your day." I was like, "No," and I was like, "Well, that's it. I'm going to shut off to everybody.
I
Going to go
think.
and
I
plug
think
myself
I.
into Netflix."
I threatened to get you in a headlock if you was hard on
You
yourself.
did. You did.
Yeah.
Now I'm
So
very
that's
lucky
what.
to have
That's
you
one
in
in the
my life.
bank. Oh,
Well,
thank you, mate.
exactly. We keep each other going. Like,
Mm,
you've come on the phone and you're feeling really crap, and then I'll just say something that's really silly, that's really my thing is humor. If I can make somebody laugh, whether it be the
yeah.
stupidest wee thing, and you're forever calling me a dick, oh, you're a dick, so. But I know that I've made you laugh, and it lifts our
Yeah. Of
vibrations, and I'm very
course it
grateful
does.
for you for having
It's
having you in my life for that.
Oh, thank you, mate. And you. And you know some stories like who was I talking to? I can't remember who I was talking to the other day. I did have a close friend who died, and he had very bad mental health. And believe it or not, we could only be the only two people that could talk to each other because we'd had kind of similar backgrounds. His was horrific though, and I miss him. God bless his soul. And but we used to laugh about it. Like, it's not a funny situation, but some people have their way of dealing with it. So even if it was a very dark, and it will be very dark, and it was very hard, and for people surrounding you as well, very, very upsetting. The only possible way to dealing with it was to have a laugh about it, And these were that's just our way of dealing with it. Everyone's different, and I'm not pointing the fingers to say mental health is funny because it bloody isn't. It isn't, you know.
No, no.
Um, but yeah, no, and that's how I get through it, and that's why we click as well because we just like,
Mhm.
oh, it's one of
I
them, isn't
think
it?
we empower each other slightly. We have got
Mm,
similar backgrounds as such, similar,
yeah,
upbringings and being a bit mental when we were younger. And now, we're both parents. Obviously, yours
yep.
are slightly younger than mine, and it's that knuckle down time. But our
And
mental health is always there.
it's constructive criticism as well, and Nick, me and you do go to because we've known each other a long time now. We do go to where we can call each other a sausage. Do you know what I mean? Do
I
you
love
know,
it.
do you
I
know
love
what I
it.
mean?
I love
So,
it.
and with that, there's no malice, but there's even times where you like stay. Look, you got to think about this. Even like for the wife, you've gone. Listen, stay. You're probably being a bit thingy with the wife there, and I'd go, oh yeah. You know what I mean?
I think
And
what it is with me is I put myself in the two shoes. I don't,
yeah,
I've never met your wife, but I've got so much respect for her because obviously past issues that you go
definitely.
through without, you've been placed under section and things like that, which we will speak about. But
Yep.
I totally I just love the fact that your wife's still there, because a lot of women would have just been like,
Mm,
I can't deal with this, I am away. But
no.
you have them on the phone and you're like, oh, this has happened, that's happened, and I don't feel like I want to
Yeah.
be here. And then I'll turn around and go, what? So you want to kill yourself over, and that's the thing, it's that humor thing. It's
Mm,
breaking that darkness, it's breaking that focal point of I don't want to be
of
here.
course.
Eh, and not everybody has somebody like me in their lives or you in their lives, and that's the
Mm.
people that I want to get to today.
Do you
You're
know what,
not alone.
you're hitting such a nerve there, because I remember, like, so for like, I don't want this to be all about me, but just so I must have been on m- more than 10 sections from 35 and 43, no, about 30 I was, yeah. So about,
Wow.
I'm 43 now, so there was multiple times there where, sorry about this, multiple times there where I was sectioned, and I remember at one point I was like, well, I had a family at home, and my sister would come and see me, my dad, my
Mhm.
mum, and then obviously Kaylee as well. But then I seen a lot of people in there, and they had no one. And I was just, it
Mhm.
used to like tear me up a bit. I was like, but then further down the line, because mental health can be very selfish.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
genuinely can. Not well. Yes, you are struggling. Yes, you're fighting like mad. And the funny thing is about taking my own life, I had to give up taking my own life because I was really bad at it. I kept going, I kept going back alive. But and that again is where I have to turn it into humour, and it's not funny for some people, and especially the people that it's surrounding. But yeah, I did that, but I just remember the souls in there that they didn't have anyone.
Mhm.
And obviously
And
that would have
that's
been through
heartbreaking.
choices, yeah, drug
Mhm.
taking,
Mhm.
people not understanding, people just like can't. It's too much. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, they get lost souls, and I think this is what we're doing this for today.
And as you say, with the alcohol and the drugs, that tends to go
Mm.
hand in hand. What I
Yeah.
feel is trauma and abuse has happened. That person is broken, shattered. As they're getting
Mm.
older, they don't understand this feeling, or they do understand, but they don't like the feeling. They want to get out their face, drink drugs. I've been
Mm.
there, I've done it myself. But
Mate.
it's the behaviors that go with that. So you can end up losing family
Mm.
members, you
Oh
can cut
mate.
off all your family. There's so many aspects in it. We're not to know that that person in the bed across from you's just chopped up their dog or something. We don't know. And we can't
Mm.
judge people for what they've done when they're mentally ill. Like when I
Yeah.
first met you, the stories that you told me, like
Mm.
kind of were funny because you were laughing at it and you're like, oh, and I've done this and the micro machines and like all your wee stories, but that's because it's years
Yeah.
after. At that time, that was a really hard time for your family, your mum, your dad, your
Crazy.
partner.
Yeah.
But
One
look
of my
at you now.
friends, one of my friends on that had to. There was a negotiator there,
Wow.
and he
Wow.
had to come and take the kettle with hot water and sugar out my hand,
Wow.
while
Wow.
all the tag squad were there. Yeah.
Wow. And was that
And you
when you
know,
were placed under section? Is that in the unit as such you were
yeah,
doing that?
yeah, no, this was at home. So Kaylee had left me, obviously. The boy and I think both boys born then. I'm not, maybe. And this is the weirdest thing, and I better be careful here, but no, I'm not going to be careful. So Tag were there, Negotiator was there. I taken the house over and put the um, cooker against the front door, microwave against the front door, micro machines on the like Home Alone. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, no,
I've got to laugh at it.
just, I don't know.
Micro machines. I covered myself, and I can't believe it's not. But I think I make a joke of that. I think it was just any margarine. I don't know what it was. I covered myself, and I was ready. And my mate had just been killed, and I blamed the police and everything else. So I just rang them, and then we had a standoff. And do you know what? It wasn't fair on the police side. It was. I remember being, and this at no point am I like, yeah, this is great. This is what I did. This and I did that. I have to turn it into something that's funny and a funnier aspect. Was it at the time? But then again, the family that we put through it, and also my friends, and then also the police, because they are human beings. Do you know what I mean? And regardless, growing up in Salford, where I grew up, when you brought up to be anti-establishment, a bit like Liverpool, exactly the same kind of feeling. But I remember one of the police officers, he turned around and he said, that's probably one of the scariest times in my whole police career. And I thought, oh, fuck, how could you do, pardon my French, how could you do that? Because I never wanted to, and I never went for any of them. I never threw anything at them. I never, it was all, I was angry about my friend and what had happened. And funny enough, CID had just been to my house about a week before, and they'd said, oh, so we didn't really want to come, but can you tell us why you and David were talking? And blah blah. I said, well, you know what I mean. But then they went, are you going to be all right? Well, and I hadn't cried. I hadn't
That's
cried.
exactly.
Yeah, Kaylee was like, and I remember my mother-in-law's the best woman in the world. I'm dead lucky, them blokes who call them mother-in-laws. And I joke, comedians do it, don't they? But mine's
You've
amazing.
got a great one. Brilliant.
Yeah. And I was, and she, the the detective which was under the Henshaw one, you could tell was dead nice, and she had a heart. The other one was a bit of a tosser, but she went, "Are you going to be all right now?" As soon as he left the door, I burst out crying, and then it just went dark. Just
Yeah.
went dark. It was 3 friends in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, which
Yes. I
that
mean,
was a tipping point.
somebody without mental disorders would find that
Yeah,
hard to deal with. And as
yeah,
you say,
yeah.
the anger first because you're angry that it's happened, the disbelief, and then as you say,
Mm,
when you've done that little bit of healing with crying,
yeah.
that's when it's like it's
I
like a
was,
relief.
I was going to ring the EastEnders and tell them to fuck off. I thought the script writers had took over my life. I was like, again, I have to turn it into something funny. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was. But I got through it, and I spent a lot of time. And Kaylee used to always say, like Christmas, and Christmas I do get down because we all do, because it reminds us of some of the ones that we are not here, and you're like, why am I here? You have this imposter syndrome type thing. And
Mm-hmm.
anyone with mental health this time of year, do you know, I've got 2 young kids, and it's great. I've got everything in the world that you can ask for. But sometimes when you go down, and
No,
it's,
no.
and we've had this conversation.
Yeah, you'll agree that unfortunately, when you're in that mindset of taking your own life, and a lot of people
Mm,
are like, oh no, they had kids. When you're in, you
mm,
think you're such a burden to your children that
mm-hmm.
their whole life's going to
Yep,
be like ruined because of you, that you're doing them a favor. But
yep.
all we're doing is passing on our pain to them. That's the way I look at it.
It would become a multi-generational chain.
Exactly. Exactly.
What could they do that?
Hmm.
It's, and it is strange because I had a nana and my mum struggled mentally, and then you can see the patterns. But then, if it's so, I'll be just dead honest. I might as well put it out there. So I suffer with borderline personality disorder, PTSD from childhood. I think they call it PTSD, but I just call it PTSD. And then parasomnia, which is an offset of PTSD, of severe trauma and PTSD, which
That's when
is,
we first started talking, was your
that's how
parasol.
we got talking. Yeah, I was going through it bad. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I'd obviously been to certain places, and we won't mention them, and got involved in, because when you are, and this is the first thing you've got, and this is not a gender thing. It's definitely not a gender thing. But men won't listen, and Kaylee used to, like, when I used to go in all the time on sections, or even on where you go involuntary because something bad had happened, and Kaylee
Mm.
says, "You've got to stay in. You've got to
Wow.
stay in." Said, "Stephen, you are not going to get a diagnosis unless you stay in." And I felt, obviously, I'm like, well, you're just with them, you're in that, because that's where
Mhm,
your mind goes. But no, I did. And then I got the diagnosis, because obviously they monitor you over a bigger time. Sorry, I'm just going to take a sip.
mhm. No, of course.
And then that was that. But then you meet a lot of people in the mental health who are quite rude towards people with BPD, and I remember when they threw me out, they're not allowed to throw it out in the streets. They're not supposed to, but they did.
Wow.
And I actually had to go and live in a hotel for a while. And in the hotel, it was in the middle of Salford. one night I could hear a girl screaming, so I've ran, and that's a trigger for me. So I've run upstairs in this converted pub into like an Airbnb. It was horrible. And next thing I'm running in, and this lad's like, all his face weird, all his face was scratched. She was screaming, and it was actually her. She was
Oh,
at him. So I'd
shit.
actually calmed it down, and this lad knew me, and he went, "Oh, you know such a person who was a big gangster," and I was like, "Yeah, all right, mate. We're not measuring dicks here. Whatever." He's like, "You know our thingy, you know our thingy," and I'm like, "Oh, whatever, mate. I hope you don't watch this." Well, that's about to be watching it. And then this gentleman who was running the hotel comes in, kicks it back off. I'm phoning the police. I've just calmed it down. Next thing, it's like all in the air. And I'm like, I've just come out of a mental institute, right? I'm fucked. I can't go home. I can hear voices and I'm dealing with this. But then I actually, because of had insomnia, I wake up and hear screaming a lot. And so I was like, at first, it's I thought, is that real? Or was it no? Like, so it's like, but then I just got home and ran upstairs. And I might have like just knocked on someone's door and they were both asleep. You know what I mean? Producing me being ill as well. But no, it was genuine. I got it right, which is great. But yeah,
That's
don't we could
mad.
be here all day, kid.
They let you out. Like just like, okay, on you go, and just
They sat me down. I had no representative. The doctor sat me down with the ward manager and some other people, and they said, "You don't deserve to be in here.
Mhm.
Your illnesses aren't as bad as people in here." I think I just tried, and I think I jumped off a bridge at that time, and yeah, this isn't the place for you. She needs to go out. And then, luckily enough, they threw me on the street. And luckily enough, my uncle paid for me hotel room because I wasn't allowed to go home because we had listen social services. There's good and bad in everyone, yeah.
Of course.
But obviously, my behaviours, I'd never harm my wife, never harm the kids. But obviously, the kids are really young. But it's still not right if I was there. I get it. But we got a special gentleman. We had loads of workers, and most of them were absolutely lovely. But we got a special gentleman who was a bit of a tough spot. Definitely should have been in the job. He actually turned up at the police incident after it had all calmed down, and we got him sacked. He turned round and he said, "Oh, have I missed all the fun?"
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he's an
Wow.
asshole.
That's good as
So
life. That's life.
yeah, and then so he was the one who was sick to be going home for a bit, which I got that, I understood. And then everything was we worked and we've done well, and this is the main thing on this as well is to say to people, look, at them points in life there, I didn't think my brain could repair. I couldn't hold a conversation like I'm, and I've even been like that this week anyway, a little bit. But if you do dig in, you do push on through your knees, push on. Even if your body at the top's knackered, just push on, and you can get there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I don't want, the stories like you're saying that people are saying, you don't deserve to be here. I don't want that to stop
Yeah.
anybody going to get the help that they need.
No,
The
these are
NHS, I
special
mean,
people. Yeah, these are special
and the,
people.
the NHS is completely swamped right now with their mental health units. They're not getting the
Mm.
funding.
Well,
We can.
they're not covered. Do you know that? That's how they get out of it as well. This is when I lived through them legally. NHS and mental health are two separate things.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's mental. Pardon the
Very
pun.
mental.
Ah!
I have had, so then there's the main bad one, which was when I was put on the ward. The unit I was in medium security, so there was high security, medium, and a low one, and so you locked it basically after and everything. So one of the mothers of whose son sexually abused me worked at the unit. So I would then see her on my breakfast, dinner, and tea, and yeah, that was and nothing was done. Funny enough, I actually spoke to last year on the BBC did a program on Prestwich Hospital, which is near me. I got threatened with her. That is like the high. You ain't coming out. Like
Wow.
If you're in there, you're in there for quite a bit. But it was on, and it was horrible. They had a young girl in there, and they were treating them horrible. Now, again, we don't want to. I'm not digging out NHS or not, well, mental health here, because there is some good ones. But obviously, they filmed it. It was horrible, and at the end, it said, "Ring this number, and we'll help you." And I rang it because it triggered me. I was like, and in a weird way, no comparison, I was just like, "You think that's bad? You want to have been what we went." I felt almost patients were there with me as well. What I seen, there's more drugs in there than anything I've seen. Like, and it was like, if you're on a section, they'd be nice with you, and you did let them just take drugs because they got an easier shift. If they were on voluntary, then they just kick you out.
That's wow. Wow.
It's
And
mad.
did anything happen with the lady that was on the ward that was related to one of your abusers? Was she removed? Did they listen?
No,
What
no,
happened?
no. So Kaylee came in. One day we'll get her on and she'll confirm it all as well. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, of course.
Kaylee said, "Listen, this is red flags." Kaylee works for social services at the time as well, in a capacity, and still does really to a degree, but now works in schools. But yeah, she said red flag. The nurses were all running around because at the same time as well, which was random and bizarre. I come from like electronics and finance, but I then worked briefly in mental health with learning difficulties, and I looked after this lad. And I've not told you this one. So this is another one at the same time, which was another red flag. So I'd looked after him, and it was really low pay, but I really took it on me on my. It was it was after the markets had gone. I'd come back from Spain, moved in with
Mm.
Kaylee, and started working. I thought, God, I'll just do it. I know what I'm doing, looking after people. And I really looked after him, and even he was obsessed with police officers. And my mates from the police, they were going to come. He used to dress up as a police officer every night. It was dead sweet, really.
Oh,
I actually was arranging for him and friends to come in a police car and take him out, but the
oh,
high as it be wouldn't let it happen. Yeah, they were horrible. So when
oh,
I got in there, he was in there as well. So
wow.
I was like, so that was my first red flag, and I was like, listen, I can't be on. He was on my ward. I can't be in here with this lad, And luckily enough, the lad didn't remember me. This guy just had learning difficulties. He was definitely not in that place for there. He shouldn't have been in that place. He was horrible.
Mm.
And so that was that. And then obviously they ran round like mad, like we need to get him off this ward. It's what's it called? Oh God, what's it called when they're supposed to look after you?
Here?
But it no, safeguarding. So yeah, so like this is safeguarding. This is against safeguarding. This, that. Yeah, that was a biggie. That was a biggie. But I'm here talking to you, and
Absolutely. I mean, even in the
and
last 18 months, I see a huge difference in your
mm,
positivity. Even sometimes, like, this sounds bad, and I've said it to you before, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to
go
go
on.
and training, and I'm going to go and do this and that. And I'm sitting in my house going, on paper, he is like way more iller than me, but he has got the motivation. Like, you've got the dedication. Like, I'm
Yeah.
actually in awe of you.
Oh
And I'm
mate.
like, if he can do it, I can do it. And what a
Yeah.
difference. Yeah, I did wake up really anxious today. I think from the stream not working yesterday, I kind of carried the anxiety through. My friend's
Mm,
having a hard time this morning as well. So I think I was feeling it for her. And I went for a
mm.
walk at 8 o'clock this morning, and I came back and I was like dancing.
Wow, mate, that's mint.
Like, that's what it is. That's
To
what just
some
that
people, to,
minute
to
walk.
some to some people, our way of talking, if they didn't understand mental health and that, you actually going for that walk is massive.
That's a huge thing
Like
for me. You know
it's
that.
yeah, and it sounds. You know what? Then I can hear in my head. I'm only aiming at me, week, at me, not you, because I've not been able to do that for the past couple of weeks, as you know, and and other people we've spoke to. No, it is that time. The cliche is that it's that time of year. Yes, we should be happy. We genuinely, should we? I don't know, but we should be. I've got to be happy for the family. I've got to be happy for the boys. But it is a bit of a hard time. But it's also an effed up world at the minute. You dare to turn on the fear porn. We don't watch normal TV anyway. We
No.
sacked that off years ago. That's even before we even met each other. And a lot of the people that we know have done the same.
Mm.
So, but And then there's also what, depending on what you believe, yeah, God, whatever, whoever you believe in or whatever you believe in, there's a lot of negative energy out there, as well with these wars and everything else. And it's
Mhm.
not on purpose. It's not. It's not. Sorry, it's not a mistake.
No,
It's on purpose.
it's yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
and even and I'll mention the names and we'll send this to them. Some real activists that I know, like Alessandro,
Oh, he's
you know what
amazing.
I mean? Is
He's
amazing.
amazing.
Corinne, amazing. Benil, Ron,
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ron's not, you know. So I'd like to dedicate a bit of
When
this
he's
to
doing
them.
not the royal stuff, yeah, when he's doing like his pea hunting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Word. But yeah, like there is people out there that really want to make a difference and really are fighting for kids. But what I've
Mhm.
noticed when we're maybe feeling a bit, we start going on YouTube and we start looking at all the dark stuff, or we're in Telegram groups.
Mm.
So I don't want to say conspiracy theories because they're not, they're conspiracy realists.
Yeah.
Suddenly I hate to say it, but we send it to each other and then it's all this dark, dark, dark. And that's when I notice
Mm.
with you, if you send me a few things, I'm like, stay in the light, buddy. Because it
Yeah.
has such an effect to your brain if you're sitting
Mm.
watching stuff first thing in the morning.
In
You
a
know,
weird way,
what-
you've made me better. You've made me better at that.
right, okay.
I don't know because obviously what we've done is try to be proactive. And I do think we have
Hmm.
opened conduits up and
Yeah.
got things out there. There was the Glasgow thing we
Yes,
did
yes, that was
a,
amazing getting that out.
that we actually did that. And then other people jumped on the bandwagon, but we won't talk about them. But yeah, and when you come from, without going into too much detail, oh God, fuck it, I'll do it. So I come from being sexually abused as a child, from and obviously a lot of violence and done around me and the environment and everything else. And again, I can turn some of that into a laugh, but then obviously once it connected to all the illnesses and sometimes my behaviour, because I've led like a semi legal life. It's like to say I've always dabbled, you know what I mean? But and violent and very and turn violent, program violent as well. Do you know what I mean? And now I need to keep that beast caged, and I forgot where I was going with this now.
Use it constructively. I wouldn't say caged. You know, I used to hate
Yeah.
anger. I used to think that anger was such a bad thing and we shouldn't be angry if we're spiritual. But then I realized that
Mm,
people will take the piss out of you if you don't put your boundaries out. And if they step over your boundaries, you need to be that little pit bull terrier, you know, within
yeah.
reason.
I
Yeah,
think
just stop.
we toned it. We toned that down. It's and from them backgrounds you can be very vulnerable, and that's what the key thing I was trying to get as a bloke for me to say I'm vulnerable. Very
It's a
hard
huge,
that. Yeah, and it's
that's
not
why
because I want. It's not
on.
attention. Yeah, not attention seeking. I don't want that. I don't want limelight or anything like that. But if other blokes can come forward after being drilled by your wife for years, if you can do that, then you know,
I mean, that's last week where we're both feeling shit. We're both like
yeah.
that. And what did we do? We went, let's share this. Let's let others
Mm.
know that whole it's okay to not feel okay within reason.
Yeah.
Well, like you were saying about the winter, it's this time of year, right? So, you
Mm.
know, the term under the weather is literally real. Like, our cats will
Wow.
sleep longer, our dogs will sleep longer because it's
Yep.
under the weather. We're meant to hibernate, we're meant to rest, we're meant to reflect on the summer times. Like I showed on one of my streams, they done an experiment and they injected trees with adrenaline so that they wouldn't go into their natural hibernation state over winter. And within 1 year, all those trees had died because they didn't have that time of rest and recuperate.
Mm. You
So
know
if
that's a
we go and
that's a
like
satanic
winter,
practice. That's a satanic practice. That
what? Injecting trees.
yeah, with blood.
Oh. But this wasn't blood, this was just adrenaline,
It's
just putting it
generally all right. Okay, so they went to the class A straight away. No, yeah, no. They just spiked them up. I've heard someone say that they used to feed. They put it on the trees. It's
Wow.
weird.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, it's winter. It's dark. We're getting what, 7 hours of daylight a day. So our
hmm
brain naturally, when it gets dark, is it melatonin that kicks in when you're going to go to
yeah.
sleep? Because it's usually about three
Yeah.
o'clock. I get the big yawns and I'm like, oh my God, it's only 3 o'clock. It feels about 10. And then I pick up again probably about 4 o'clock-ish.
It's weird, isn't
Um,
it?
but yeah, like listen to your body. If you're tired, relax. If
Yeah.
you're feeling run down, take that time to recover. But
Mm.
if the darkness in the brain is pointing you to negative thoughts about yourself, you know,
Worth it.
seek help. Please seek help, whether it be your doctor, GP, a friend, just anybody that you
Mm.
trust that you can maybe
Mm.
speak to. Like EasyE will feel crappy sometimes, and then within 5 minutes, we're both laughing. And he's like, I needed
Mm.
that because you just need
Yeah.
somebody to come into your day and just be like, no, we're not going to do that
And
today. And you do
and
that
then you find that I'll try and swerve you sometimes because I don't want to be a
today.
burden. That's that you and then I'll get I know what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? And it won't be swerving you. I won't be swerving you being rude. It'll just go like the people don't. You don't want anyone else to drag anyone else down
Yep,
and
yep,
spoil their day, But then
yep.
there's like we talked about. Listen, let's get back to the saying. It's
It's okay.
okay to feel no. Yeah.
Be okay, which I couldn't say on take one or take two. So we had to
Uh,
record it again.
I'm glad you finished it off because I forgot it. But
Oh my
it
goodness.
when you've been in the systems for quite a while, that gets fucking patronising. I
Yes.
don't know,
Yeah.
and depending, and it might be more me. It might be more me projecting that's wrong. And probably I'll be. You can get me at one of my multiple characters that I am, but you
What's
can
your
get me. Yeah, you like. And I told you, no disrespect to some of the workers, but the double thumbs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Please,
get you.
please don't do that. Please don't
Aye,
do that.
aye. No,
Please.
that's you would do that to
Well
a
done,
child.
mate. Well done, mate. And listen, some of them are
Very
lovely.
good.
Might as well be freaking jazz hands, might it? You know what I mean? It's just like, don't do
Brilliant.
that. I know I've got
No,
mental health issues, but please don't do that.
no, no, I know. I mean, these people are paid, trained, and completely qualified to deal with people with mental health problems. And myself, being an energy healer, and working with more shamanic practices, when I get contacted by somebody who's having a really hard time, I've now stopped giving them advice because who
Yeah.
am I to give the right advice? Who am I? I'm not qualified. I'll plant a couple of seeds and then I'll say maybe you should go and see your doctor about that
Let it
or go
grow.
and
Let it grow.
or whatever. But it is hard for us because we work with a lot of survivors and warriors because we are them ourselves. That
Hmm.
we want to hear everybody's story, but being empathic, we take it on. So,
Yeah.
like I've explained to a couple of people in emails, I don't give my phone number out anymore. I can't because I will have 3 2-hour phone calls that day. And I can't do it because it drains me of my energy. And then if I'm drained,
Hmm.
I can't give anything out. So I'm open emails. If anybody's struggling, my email's in the description box. It's on the about tab on the YouTube. I am very open to emails. I am not
Hmm.
qualified to give you the correct advice. I can only tell you what's worked for me, and what's worked for others.
That's
Yeah,
great, that
yeah,
though. Like you
do
said that
that.
as well, because again, and I think we'll talk about coping mechanisms, won't we, in a bit, but um, what we can only give our interpretation. And the weirdest thing is, so as you know, I've been going to some groups therapy through the mental
Mhm.
health, and yeah, it's been great. And it's listening to people exactly like me, which is great. I had to last week was that bad that I had to like kind of walk out of one because I was just triggered. I was
Yeah,
just didn't know what day it was. And it's probably been this is a weird thing, and I think a lot of people will agree. This is probably the worst I've been all year. Like, but
yeah,
on this pod, that's why we wanted to do it. That's why
yeah,
we needed to do it because if we can help one person and they go, oh, I know that, that's what I do, or that I'll try that. or
Mhm.
that kind of way, and you're not on your own. Do you know what I mean? It's very powerful for us. This is what we do this for,
Yeah,
not
yeah. I mean,
not
we do this
monetary
daily,
gain.
basically. Oh
Yeah,
no, I'm not
you
bothered with
know,
clicks and likes and subs. Of course, it
click,
helps grow the
click,
channel, but
click, ticks.
honestly,
You swap
right,
that word there.
I said it right. I said it right. What are you saying not?
Yeah, you first time as well.
I see it in ulterior motives with healers, with campaigners, with
Mm,
like, and it's all ego driven. I'm not ego driven. Um, I'm just honest. I'm dead raw and I'm dead real. And if I'm having a crap day, I'm
yeah,
upset. But it's our
it's
coping mechanisms that get us through everything. Our animals,
definitely,
our music, even things like our diet. We know if we eat crap, we're going to feel crap.
mm, definitely,
For me, it's music, 100% music. But I do get that ill, as in mentally ill, that I can't listen to anything.
mate.
Everything
Yeah,
me gets to me. Like, not that I'm raging, but I just can't. Now I've started putting healing music on, and I can listen to that because that's got the
frequencies,
healing frequencies. Exactly.
frequencies, mate. These
Huge thing.
it's so weird to say that because we've not even had this conversation. But I was looking at another podcast here yesterday, and they were
Mhm.
plugging this machine. They're all right, what they do and everything, and it seems like it's all right, but I don't really know. But so then started looking at these machines, these frequency healing, like that resonance emitters, that's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Without being too electronic, but it's I think Tesla knew about it.
Mhm.
Tesla knew
Mhm.
about it. Everyone knows about it. The shamanic, the Indians, them noises, them not noises, them levels that their voices went to
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
is really they were tapping in. They were
Yes,
taught
that's
that, and
absolutely.
and unfortunately, the so-called religions had an agenda with them, didn't they?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
governments, and that always upsets me. But I can't change the past. But there is, I think TMS is a new one, which is something magnet therapy. TMS,
Oh,
no,
okay.
probably the wrong. There's a
Okay.
magnet thing that you can do, which is I got a phone call about it, and it was extortionate. The price on it
Yeah.
was just unbelievable. I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, no, I'll speak to you next week.
Yeah.
You're all right.
Like
Yeah,
that.
but you'll always look for alternatives, and we can segue into like coping mechanisms, can't we? Because we both do the acupuncture mats, which are great.
Yeah, you introduced me to that. In fact, I'm going to
Mm,
because I'm terrible. I'll do something religiously, and then I just
mm.
completely forget about it. So
I think
yeah,
that's
that's
what. Yeah,
brilliant. And that's just you're
yeah,
forcing yourself. If somebody can't meditate, then I'm like, well, lie on an acupuncture mat because you're going to take your
yes,
15 minutes, aren't you? And I mean,
yeah, and
that is pain, but it's good pain.
it is. Yeah, it is, and it does feel very zen. And like so the past couple of weeks I've not been able to train, just due to some circumstances. And training for me is my mecca. It genuinely is. If I can't, I notice a massive shift in myself. I'm not saying go training for everyone. I do MMA training, and walks and run to a degree. Um, that's what I learned. I remember a mental health worker said to me, "Go back to the things that you loved." And that was a
Mhm.
good thing. And so I started playing hardcore music again, techno, and
Brilliant.
and I was like, it just took me back to like when I was like 13, 14.
Mhm.
And then also, I was very active sport wise, massively active, rugby, football, boxing, everything. And I thought, right, and that was great. So apart from some of your in things that you've given me, because I learned some things from you, that's been great. But that has been massive. And to whatever your limits are,
Mhm.
people might be in so much pain. It's unreal. Can't do this, can't do that. Well,
Mhm.
try breath work. I can't
Yes.
do breath work. I can't do meditation. That's
Yeah.
your baby, innit? I struggle
Mhm.
with that because my mind just goes too fast. My goal is
I
to
will
get
get
there.
you there. I will get you there. That is
Yeah,
my
we
main
will get there. I
main
just I know that is and a
trick
thing that
is
will be
trick is
massive. Yeah.
your thought, okay, so you're trying to meditate, you're doing your breathing, and then a thought comes in, and you're running away. As soon as you feel that you're running away, just bring it back. Focus on, and another
Mm.
thought will come because you're human. And the more that you retrain, I was the same about 6 years ago. I was like, I can't meditate. I can't even sit still for an eyebrow tint, or just because of my energy, undiagnosed. Like,
Yeah, that. Do you know what? That I just thought of that. That's like the polar opposite from like the way you are, because you're like a million miles an hour
so for me to
in a good way.
actually, what I've done, and I hope this helps someday, is I got the Headspace app. I believe it's now on Netflix, but at the time it
Mm.
wasn't. I paid a tenner a month. And the chapters that I've incorporated it into my guided meditations, because constantly, oh, there she is. I love her. She like follows you everywhere. And
I
that's
know.
another mechanism. I've got to say, animals.
Oh,
They give us
massive.
reason to get up in the morning. Not that we're going to lie about our pets, but we have to, because we're responsible for
Yeah.
somebody else. The love that they give us is
Mm.
unconditional, loyalty, and because we've been let down by humans, I feel that we're more like animal people. And you'll find that most survivors and
Yeah.
warriors are like that. They're very fur
Yeah.
babies, because humans have let them down, which is a
Yeah.
shame. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what keeps me going. My fish tanks, my cats, my bunny.
Mm.
Having the YouTube channel has forced me to step out my comfort zone,
Yep.
on days that I don't feel like it. And yeah, I can do it from my own home. So no matter what, if
No,
I've got the
massive.
anxiety,
That's massive.
exactly,
And
exactly. So
and the sole fundamentals of when the length of time I've known you. Have I known you about 2 years now?
I'd say
About
so.
2 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
say so.
Is you stuck by what you initially said it would start as?
Well, the channel,
Through, yeah, you've
yeah,
stuck like
yeah,
that. You haven't gone for clicks, ticks, and you're not that person anyway. But some people don't know you.
hmm
They don't. We do, and that's why we support you with it. We all love you to bits with it. We know, because obviously you've worked with professionals as well. That was and
I've
that
been very lucky.
yeah, and that was you in your element a bit. And again, doing what you love, which is contrary to sometimes how we are. You often hear some of the biggest actors and people on stage are the total opposite in real life. Not in a
Absolutely.
bad way, not being not in a way of them being a nasty sound, but some of them are really, really shy, and you're like, wow, how does that? Or
Yep.
or suffer with anxiety really bad. Yeah,
hmm
they go on do with
And
that
that's the thing
because
with acting, you're not yourself, you're playing another person. So it's so much easier to put
yeah,
that character. I mean, I say that because I've done
yeah,
acting, but for me, it was
mm,
therapy, because to
yeah,
me,
it's
what I was
weird.
doing was real. I adapted into that,
Massive link there. Yeah,
absolutely, definitely. But I'm not an actor in life, as in
no,
two-faced or,
no.
manipulating people or anything like
Mm,
that. I'm just me. I just thought I'll start a wee YouTube thing, hopefully share a wee bit light,
I
connected with
think
you,
so.
connected with Craig, and I've got to say that's thanks to Sonia Poulton and her show Rise,
Mhm.
because we all
Oh,
connected on that.
we've
So
not
yeah,
we've not done that, and we wish her very well at the moment, and with everything she's doing. And without her, we wouldn't have met.
exactly. And I don't think she realizes that, how
Massive,
close we
mate.
have became, especially Craig. I mean, I'm consistently waking up to the Jungle Book being sung to me, or like Ariel, and it's like, but things like that. That I
Uh,
could be in a really shit mood or whatever, just a bit tired. I hit play on
You need
WhatsApp,
that, mate. You need
Craig
that.
singing the Jungle Book, and I'm like, brilliant. I love that.
There's
Um,
a there's,
or
there's a
same
video
thing,
of like gone.
we just have a laugh. I think it's just
Yeah,
lifting each other's vibrations, and I
yeah.
do feel sorry for people that don't have a community like that and they don't have friends. Um,
Mm,
as I say, feel free to drop me an email. We do have like a little healing group going on in the Telegram group.
hmm
And it's just a support group, it's just kind of, we can have a wee event, we can all just send love to each other. It's just knowing that somebody's there, no matter
Yeah,
whether you're having a good day or a bad day.
it's a good
So yeah,
thing. Yeah, and you've nurtured that for a couple of years now and looked after it, and that's
yeah,
where I
yeah,
landed, didn't I? Because I was like, I
that's
was
right.
remember I'd spoke to Sonia previously a little bit because of some of the things that was going on, years before. I mean, won't go into all that. But
Yeah.
the parasomnia was like, do I phone a priest or or how do I get around this? And
Mhm.
that then popped me into that room, and that was great because then we met, and and like brother and sister, which was great,
Mhm.
and other people we've met on the journey have been amazing as well, and
Really.
we've met some very special characters.
Yeah. Some very special characters. Ah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, I think that's really all we can say on that, to be fair. Like,
Yeah, I don't even want to go there. Yeah, let's not give the energy. Let's not give the, you
no,
know.
so we're
But
all
the
on the same ball. Like, we're like that
yeah,
person or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
and the main. This is the total. I don't. Again, I wear many masks, and that's not me being false. It was how I learned to survive. It's like when I dissociate,
Yep.
I literally turn off. I turn off, and my sons have to clap next to my head. But with that, and oh, where was I going with that woman out loud now? Sorry. Well, that's been
That's all
happening a
right.
lot recently.
That's okay. I done that.
Um,
I was like mid-flow, phew, just disappeared.
yeah, I can't think. What was I going to say? That I had a reason that I keep doing that today, which is quite annoying. But
We've been
yeah,
quite good, and I've been quite good with my words. We've not really messed up, and we're a couple of what am I saying?
yeah, and swearing.
Really well, yeah, swearing, and we've not been
Get,
too bad today.
we kept it PC. We kept it PC. I can't think like where was I going with that then? The mental health. Yeah. Oh no, it's gone now.
So, do you
Oh,
think
well,
that
cheese me.
Christmas, winter, it's like an added stress, money, the weather, this. Oh,
It's
you
all of them.
disappeared, and now you're coming back. Oh, you went
One,
away, now
two,
you're
three,
back
back in the room. One, two,
in the
three, back in the
room.
room.
Well, I
Yeah.
think
Do
you want to
you
end
know what I
this
did
on
then? Do you know what I did then? I
what?
transported.
I love it.
Don't say that.
Like,
It's my
I'm just
superpower.
going to phone the section people again. I'm only joking. I'm only teasing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So I rang him
whenever
before.
well, exactly, you could be first-hand man. Like, that Micro Machine story just always makes me giggle, and I know I shouldn't giggle, but it's just the way they were like, "Yeah, I covered myself
Yeah.
in butter. I put Micro Machines down on the," and I was like, "Home Alone." He's literally reliving Home Alone, like, if you're in the siege. But
I didn't have any paint. I didn't have any paint tins, so I couldn't swing like a rope with a paint tin, letting it sword in the air. If I'd have found the paint tin, I probably would have done that. But I
I'm
probably only hit myself in the head.
your creativity though, you know? Like, aye,
Mm.
amazing. You're an amazing dad and an amazing
Oh, thank
partner,
you.
an amazing friend to have, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life.
Mm.
And I'm so grateful that you've come on to
Appreciate it.
share what you're feeling, being raw, being open, and especially being a man. And that's no disrespect against women. I suffer for loads of
No.
stuff, but I feel that it's either from an egotistical place when men come on and it's not with you. It really is I want to share
No.
how I feel because I'm hoping to help somebody else.
Yeah,
And I think
definitely.
that's beautiful.
And even when I've been in with under CPNs or anything else, like even I'm in part of a survivors group as well, which is a charity where men can go to. No disrespect to women, it's
Mhm,
mainly for men. And
mhm,
with that, I've always said, if I could change one life, if I could grab me out of when I was then, by the scruff of the neck and go, look, you're going to be
mhm,
here eventually.
mhm,
Yeah, yeah, and it's not the only gain from that is you living in the light,
mhm,
just to help someone. And if I voice could say, I remember when I walked around the grave once, and there's a connection between people who have got childhood trauma. The
mhm,
there's whether you believe it or not, there's a certain people do pick things up, like a present or
mhm,
after a nuclear storm. And I remember walking through the graveyard and I to go and see one of my friends and who had passed. And I literally heard, and I was playing the same music, which was I was just digging myself into a big, and I was in a graveyard, a deeper grave. And I remember just he came round from somewhere, and he went, "Pack it in, mate. Stop being a sausage." And
Wow.
I knew it was him. And the weirdest thing, this is so weird. I link this. I came across all my friends were in a Facebook group, and it was a psychic, and she was a local one, and she promoted it as local. And my friend, she's a nurse, she's quite high up in the NHS, so she messaged me, said, "You need to come into this room a minute." And I was like,
Oh,
"Wow, what are you on about, Stacey?" And she went, um, "I think they're talking about you and Eddie." Because
wow. That's just giving
and
me chills right now.
it was him as well, and he would
Oh,
always call me a sausage. Yeah, he would always call me a sausage. And she went, "Is we're in this room, this girl's doing it for free, and she doesn't know you from Adam. No one's mentioned anything." So I went in this room, and she said, "Right," she said, "So who's David who's been killed?" And Stacey said, "Steve, that's your mate." And I went, "Yeah." So and then he went, "Right, you silly sausage," and he was laughing at me breaking my leg. Because that's how we
oh,
were, me and him. He's
of
like,
course,
"What have you done to your leg, you
of
stupid?"
course.
And he was totally like, "No, that's the way he was."
Mm.
It was quite a sick, dark humour we had because of what we'd been through. He'd actually lost his mum and dad. His mum killed his dad, got away with it, then killed herself. Yeah, that's the life he had.
Wow.
And then he grew up on the doors and all of that kind of stuff. And then he was killed and in a gangland killing. But
Jeez. Jeez.
um, let's get away from that.
No, no, no,
But
of
yeah,
course. But do
no,
you
no, you're
feel
right.
that that psychic message helped you grieve kind of
Oh,
thing?
mate. So I'd done
Yeah.
my leg, and he broke his back once, and I sort of he'd been shot off he'd been through off a bridge, like yeah, a walkway, and it was by a very known gangster who was killed. Now he's actually on Crime Watch. He was at the film, and when he died, no disrespect to the family, I said to Eddie, yes, and when he was hanging around with him, I was like, "Mate, what are you hanging around with that absolute nutcase for?" And I won't mention his name, but because it was caused trouble. But anyway, so I took the Mick in when he'd done his back. He literally had a brace on his back. Like he came back, just nails. It was hard. He come back and all that. But yeah, he was in, and I can't remember what else. He was just laughing at my leg, and I thought that's what we do. I
Yeah.
took the Mick in with his back, and because it looked like he had wings or something like an angel. I was like, and then
Yeah.
he moved on to that, and it was so. Oh, it moved me. Do you know what? I fucking never told that story ever.
No, you haven't. What
Yeah,
one
so
that you've not?
that's for yeah, no, yeah, that's raw, and Kaylee will back you up, can back me up on it, and it's now I can feel in my heart. It was so warm, and it was yeah,
That's
and he
beautiful.
was the same person who will want to walk around the. It was a real pivotal time that I was walking around the graveyard, and I had because I was like I'm quite a loyal person, so in that degree, I was then set that I had to sort what had happened out with him, which got
Mm-hmm.
really dangerous, and these were
Mm-hmm.
dangerous people, and I had to, and because I wasn't, and I was a little bit active in getting these people, it, it, it I was going to go to prison. I had two kids,
Yeah.
and he
Makes
literally, he'd said before he died, because he'd had a fight with a certain, they're in prison, we spoke about him the other day,
Mm-hmm.
they'd
Mm-hmm.
attacked him, gangsters as well, and I was in a homeless shelter with part of their family, and he'd gone missing for ages. I knew I had that sixth sense that we all have. I rang him
Mm-hmm.
and I went, "They're in here." I went, "I'm going to do this now." And he said, "Whoa!" And his name was Mad Eddie. He called him Mad Eddie, which is I was calling David because I didn't like that. That kept him alive. That name, believe it or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and he said to me, "You've just lost your family. You've just lost your house. You just don't finger this, and you're going to cause yourself more trouble in a thingy." But with me, where I come from, you had to be that loyal.
Yeah. You're doing that for him.
Yeah, and after he died, I went driving there, and his ex-girlfriend rang me when I was outside the house of this family again, and with something which was not great. and she stopped me. She said, "You fucking drive away now. Drive away
Mm,
now." Um, right as I was at the house, like literally.
no, aye,
Yeah.
no.
But you
You
know
say
what? I'm not that person anymore.
no,
We went deep
you're
then, didn't we?
no,
Deep.
but that's what the stream was all about, you know. It's reflecting,
Mm,
it's thinking of things that have caused you to be that grief. Grief is a bastard, especially at this time of
mm.
year when it's been loved ones, family members that should be sitting at the table with you. And I really feel for people like that.
No,
Um,
massive,
you know,
massive.
time doesn't make things easier. It's just I don't know. I don't want to say
Yeah,
and offend
it's
somebody, but
no, no, not at all. And that is, do you know what? It does work time, but I'm careful to say that to someone. I wouldn't mind it being said to me. It's not a problem. But everyone's
Mhm.
different, and different words, and different trauma, and different. What we're obviously trying to say as well. It's not always what works for you is going to work for me or work for
No.
anyone else.
Mhm.
Um, she's
See a
talking
tail
to me.
behind you. Yep.
Yeah, she keeps
So
talking.
good.
She's been out, so she's clearly telling me
Tell
a tale.
stories.
What?
Love it.
What? I
Look
know.
at her. She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Don't see that on
Hey.
podcast, do you?
No,
We're keeping it raw and real.
only on hours. Exactly. Exactly. Well, we've got 5 minutes under an hour, so I think we should call this short. Is there
Yes.
anything that you would like to say to finish us off? And I'd be more than happy to have you back on in like 3 weeks and we can see how
Yeah.
things are, if things have got a bit better.
So we went into detail just so if it hit anyone. I don't necessarily like talking about myself, but clearly it didn't seem that on this pod. but we just want anyone to, if it touches base with them, and that things that happen to people, they
It
are
doesn't
this
find them.
now. She's taking a minute. She's actually on my shoulder now, so
Wow.
she clearly heard 5 minutes. Did you see that? It's up in my face.
Why?
I get that all day.
She's like,
There's no claws out. It's just like little puffy little hand.
oh,
Well, I think she said it all.
exactly, exactly. Well, thank you, Tina. It just means so much for me to get you on and for us to have
Mm.
this raw chat. It might help somebody, it might not help anybody, but I think we are going to help a couple of people that just know things do get better. Try and do wee things for yourself. Stick a wee bit of music on, dance like nobody's watching,
Small
take a walk.
things.
Small things, little baby
And and
steps,
and
things that
just as we're going, I want to thank you for that. For them things you taught me was do small things, go back. Don't have to do it all. Don't
Mhm,
go back. And one of the best things you ever taught me, I changed it, mixed it up a little bit. Wake up in the morning in a good mood, regardless of what happened the night before, and it can only go tits from there. Now I
that's it.
just think get to one data point to another data point,
Yep.
then treat it with the positive when you wake up. You can say thank you for waking up, but whatever you believe in, that's great. But don't wake up in what was like in the night before,
Mhm,
because you can change it.
mhm,
You can
mhm.
fucking change it.
Yeah.
And that was massive. It seems so simple, but it was the best advice you ever gave me.
Yeah, I simply do. I say thank you 3 times before my feet hit the floor when I get out of my bed. And that's just starting in gratitude, grateful for making it through the night, grateful for a new day. And thank you
Mm.
to all my spirit guides and my ancestors and my elders for supporting me daily. And
Hmm.
as you say, it all goes tits up afterwards, and at least we've done it. We've tried.
But we
It's all
tried, and I never did that.
hmm
I spent majority not ending on a negative, but not wanting to wake up or be alive. Now I do. Even on the bad
hmm
days, I wake up and I'm like, great, kids, speak
hmm
to you, speak to the wife, speak to anyone.
hmm
Let's start this positive day. And you've helped me this
Yep.
week massively as well. And that's what we want to do. Help you
Exactly. Exactly.
out there.
No, I'm all good in the hood, and we want you all to be fine.
Hmm.
A couple of wee things you should maybe read into is like the Toltec wisdom, the 4 agreements. We can cover that on the next pod because we're run out of time.
Hmm.
Um, little books, self-help books, a YouTube video, a motivational one, cat videos, like things that just raise your vibration for that day. There's no such thing as a bad day. There's just bad
Hmm.
hours and moments in that day. And I hate to
Yeah.
say it, but you are responsible for your own happiness, guys. So whether it
Mm.
go and get a wee bit of support, reach out, lift that phone, text a friend, You have to create your own happiness. And when you're in the darkest and it feels like you can't, there is the the brightest treasure is found in the darkest caves. And that's what I took
Oh,
away from my retreat this year. So if I can pass that on. But anyway, we are at an hour. I love you so much for doing this. I think if we hit the right people, then we're really going to help them. Love and
yeah,
light to everybody. You're all amazing. It is going to get better. And you're just freaking amazing. Don't ever forget that, please. I love
yeah.
you all
Be
dearly.
kind to yourselves. Be kind to yourselves.